Y'all listen. So today we have Get Up, Girl, You Got This author Brandy Dixon in the house.
Yes.
Hi.
Y'all know we got Lisa on here. She's looking all beautiful and everything. Thank you for
Well,
joining
thank
both
you.
of you
Thank you.
ladies. Y'all, we have Brandy, she's going to read an excerpt out of her book today. I'm so excited about that. So we just gonna give the floor over to you, Brandy.
Okay, so hi everyone. I'm Brandy Dixon Robinson. Recently just published a book. September 26th was my book release, my book launch. So here is my book.
Yes.
I have my shirt, my hoodie.
Okay.
Um, so pretty much how the book was set up, it wasn't done in chapters, it's done as notes. So it's kind of like, you know, a letter to a girlfriend, you know, how I would just sit and talk to you to explain my situation, you know, just like me talking every day, how I would talk to Mia or would talk to you. So that's how the book is pretty much set up. So I'm going to go into note number 8, which talks about the rape. When I was 15 years old, I was raped by someone. And to kind of give a backstory of how that situation even came about, um, I was friends with people who I thought was my friends, but they had actually um, planned for me to spend a night at their house to like set everything up. Like, so when I spent the night with them, you know, it was a weekend. Everything went fine as far as the weekend. But when I got ready to go home, that's when they decided to kind of like hold me hostage. They cut my hair. Um, they just beat me up. You know, they just did things to me that you wouldn't even think that somebody would actually have to go through and experience as a 15-year-old girl. And then people that you go to school with, that you see every day, thinking that these people are your friends, and you putting your trust in them, and you're going to their house, um, only for them to hurt you in the end. So in the situation, I was able to escape from the car. And when I escaped from the car, I ended up being in the city of Atlanta. And just me being a suburban person, you know, growing up, I always lived, you know, in either Covington or Conyers. So I never knew anything about the city of Atlanta. I didn't know where I was. Um,
Right.
so they just dropped me. So what they did was they beat me up, they cut my hair, they pretty much just, you know, did things to me, and then they just took me to uh, the city of Atlanta. Like I think I don't know if you guys ever heard of like Boring Homes, like
Yes. Yes.
like the hood of Atlanta.
The hood.
Um,
Yes.
so they just threw me out the car, like in the middle of the. It was like probably like 7 o'clock. They threw me out the car. And it was so funny because it was like when they threw me out the car, it was like a payphone in the middle of nowhere. So I immediately went to
Wow.
the payphone to dial 911 to act to say like I need help.
Right.
And the police was like they didn't know where I was. They didn't know how to help me. They didn't even, so like the police never came because they were trying to get me to explain to them like where I was, you know. I didn't know. I didn't know anything
Right.
about Atlanta. I just knew like I needed help. So I'm like, okay, you guys can't track this call. Like, so in the midst of all that, there was a guy that saw me in the situation and when they threw me out the car. And he came, I was sitting down on the curb and I was just crying because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how I would get home. I didn't know
Right.
anything. Um, like I'm like, I can't call my mom. Like, how am I going to call my mom? Like, you know, and even still just feeling 15, like knowing what happened to me, how could I even call her to just say like, this just happened to me. I need your help.
Right. So you saying you felt a little bit of shame or
Yeah.
okay, got you, got you,
You
got
know,
you.
just Yes. So um he came over, um and he was like, I seen what they just did to you. Like, are you okay? Do you need help? And I was like, yes, I do. He was like, well, where do you live? And I was like, oh, I live in Conyers. He was like, oh, well, I'm actually headed that way now. And I was like, like,
Right.
relieved, like, oh my God, okay. So
Mhm.
um, I got in the car with him, and um, so from that point, I'll just start I'll read the excerpt in my book.
Right.
Um, so it says, note number 8, the rape. People who I trusted and thought were my friends, again, were now very jealous of me. They beat me up and cut my hair, threw me in a car where I was trapped with no way to escape. Scared and not knowing what they were going to do with me, I had no choice but to wait. They took me to the city of Atlanta and threw me out of the car in the middle of the night, alone in a big city where I had never been. I trusted this guy who saw me crying and sitting on the curb, not knowing what to do. He said to me, are you okay? What happened? I saw those girls put you out of the car. Do you need a way home? I immediately responded, just wanting help and to get home to my family. I entered the car and found myself alone in the car of a stranger, trusting him to get me home. We eventually got to a spot where I was familiar, and I knew I was almost there. And then he went down this dark road and said, I'm going to see my cousin real quick, and I promise I will get you home. He continues down the dark road, turned the car around, and he stops. I tried to stop him, but I was scared because he had a gun to my head, and he told me to take my clothes off. He was about 250 pounds of pure muscle. He put his hand over my mouth and he told me to shut the F up. And he got out of the car and got on me so basically he got out of the car, he came on the passenger side where I was, and then, he got on top of me and, proceeded to do what
Right.
he did. Um and I won't use the words just because, but it says yes, that's the words I'm using because it's exactly what he did to me. So if you guys can just imagine, like, the F word pretty much. Um
Okay.
he wasn't gentle about penetrating me. He did it like it was the last thing he wanted to do before leaving the earth. Like I was just something to do. I I closed my eyes and waited for it to be over. About 5 minutes later, he got back on his side of the car and pulled the gun to me. And at this point, I couldn't stop it. I tried to stop it, but he said, put your mouth on me. So he basically made me, sodomize him in the car. But as I'm doing it, he has the gun to my head. So it's like, he's forcing me to do it, like, so I have no choice. Um,
Right. Right.
I was so scared because I knew he was about to shoot me in my head. And then he moaned and stopped and said, now let's take you home. Honey, he said, that was the best F of my life. And I'll bet it was the best of yours too. So shut the F up. How about that? And with that, he drove away. I was ruined. I never saw that coming. And in my mind, I was just hoping to make it home. And now I was crying. As I saw we were pulling up to my front door of my house, I literally jumped out the car and ran to the door. My mother and stepfather came to the door and I fell inside on the floor and I hollered, he raped me, he raped me. My mother immediately put me in a car and rushed me to the hospital. I felt like such a freak. I didn't feel normal. I cried, and then years later, looking back at the rape, I wonder what was wrong with me. I remember that day and it haunted me for so many years. The last 10 years of my life has been based on false assumptions that I deserve to be raped because I never felt the love from my father and everything that I was going through. So I struggle emotionally to build myself and even talk about it. And I never talked about it. I never talked about it to my mother. I never talked about it, you know, period. It's just something that over the course of dealing with my emotional and mental abuse, I just dealt with it. And I guess kind of put it in my subconscious mind. Um, but up until this point in my life,
You're
like,
breaking up. I don't know if it's
can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. So, just putting the abuse and back in my subconscious mind and just kind of like forgetting about it, as like never really dealing with it. Um,
right.
up, up until just this year of me writing a book and just therapy, helping me through everything that I've been through. And the reason why I chose that is because I find it's easier now for me to talk about it. It's easier now
Okay.
for me to um, accept like it wasn't my fault and I didn't have to feel those
Right.
emotions and those thoughts that I felt about myself because, that was something, in his evil mind that, I just needed help. And,
Right.
and he also told me, I don't know, I don't think it was in there, but he also told me like, I deserve that because I should have never asked for help. He was like, you should never get in a car with
That's
a
not
man.
true.
Yeah.
You shouldn't get in a car with a man, but you did not deserve that.
Yeah. So that was just his way of making me believe like that was my fault because I asked him to help me, being the fact that he was a man.
But then you also have to think about it. You were 15 years old. You were in a desperate situation. You were looking for help and you felt like this person was going to help you. So it's hard for people to tell you what you should and you should not do when you're in that situation. But guys, if you're watching this, please, please, please know that it is not your fault. You do not deserve it. I was thinking about the book title when you said you went home and you fell to the floor. Your book title is Get Up, Girl, You Got This, which is very inspirational, motivational, all of that. Is that like, how did you come up with that title?
Just the fact of get up, girl, you got this just represents so many different meanings to women in life, period. But I know just for myself, get up, girl, you got this. Like everything that I've been through, I know there's a get up girl behind it. It doesn't matter, you know, whether it's financially, whether it's going through a divorce, whether it's, you know, um, something that happens on your job. Like it's a meaning behind it every time, and that's what helps me get through, a lot of my situations. We kind of like me and Mia, like when we talk, she's like, get up, girl, you got like,
Yeah.
like I have it everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yes.
Yes.
because I want to always be reminded that I have this. Like, you got this, Brandy. And to write a book and just
Your volume's going out a little bit, Brandy.
Yeah.
Like getting low. It's all the way out now.
Yeah, it's all the way out. Can you hear us?
I can hear you really slightly.
But you know what, y'all? I do want to, while she's getting her sound together on her end, I am going to tell y'all that if you are a rape survivor, there is an organization called RAINN, RAINN. And so there, you can go online, you can ask for help. It's a resource for you. The number is 1-800-656-HOPE. So if you feel like you can't talk to your mom, you can't talk to your school counselor, you can't talk to anybody, please know that it is an organization out there that will help you. They have resources, they have counseling, they have, just reach out. Don't sit there by yourself. There are options for resources out here for you. Brandy, can you hear me? We are going to go to Lisa for the word of the day. Lisa, we about to get to you, okay, on the word of the day.
Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday evening. The word of the day is actually from his promises that you will find your strength, that you will find your faith. When the storms of life come, you will be standing on the sure foundation of Jesus, the rock. That was a poem called You May Be Weak, but Jesus is Strong. And the author of the poem is Ken Pilcher. My name is Lisa, and that was your word of the day. Yeah. Oh, goodness. Okay. Okay, hold on. Let me pull it back up. Well, thank you. Thank you. I feel alive. You guys ready? Okay, this poem is called You May Be Weak, but Jesus is Strong. Build your life on the sure foundation of Jesus. For Jesus is the rock of faith, the rock of hope, and the rock of strength that you can depend on. In every situation, look to the Lord, and He will take away your weaknesses, your doubts, and your fears. It is in the courage you get from His promises that you will find your strength, that you will find your faith. When the storms of life come, you will be standing on the sure foundation of Jesus, the rock. That poem was called You May Be Weak, but Jesus is Strong. And the author is Ken Pilcher. My name is Lisa, and that was your word of the day. Absolutely.
We hear you too. We back, y'all. We back. So, all right, Brandy, you were in the middle of talking. We had some technical difficulties. We are so glad that you're still here with us. We want you to continue on with what you were speaking about.
Just like you said, there are resources and people out there that will help you if you feel afraid and scared to talk about it to a parent, you know, because that I wish that was me, because I did feel afraid to talk to my mom about what was going on with me. Um, and I just feel like maybe I could have overcame it a lot sooner. If I had the strength and the courage to talk to her about it. My book literally, you know, my mom, I think, she probably cries in silence because she didn't realize everything that I went through. And for her to read my book, you know, she she says, Brandy, I just wish you would have talked to me. I wish you would have never went through those things.
Right.
So yes, please just know, like, you don't have to go through it alone, and trust me, there is somebody out there that is willing to listen and help you go through it. And
Right.
I just wish if I would have just had that strength and that courage a long time ago, you know. But I guess, God aligns your path for how it should be.
I
And
was just, you better
and
come on.
God aligns your path and how things should be set up. So, maybe that time was the triumphs that I was supposed to go through or experience so that I can be who I am today to,
Amen.
you know, give out the positivity and the resources in my book to help women get through what they've been through. And also, too, I just wanted to share, I don't just have a book, I also have a journal. And I've learned that, journaling and writing things down, um, is actually helping me more than um, I could even imagine.
Right.
Also, just journaling has gotten me to the point where I'm working on book two. Um,
Yes.
so I'm super excited, and I have gotten so much positive feedback off of my book thing, like women that I would never even thought went through what they went through, but once knowing me, like having a close relationship with this person, but never knowing like this is what they experienced. Like we
Yeah.
never like never knowing your story. Like we're best friends, but never actually really sitting down and talking about our stories. But me being able to share my book and then reading my book, they to just open up and be more, um, just talk about it. And I feel like even if they don't talk about it to somebody on the outside, just me alone, that makes me feel good that they're able to open up and talk to me.
Right.
So
And Brittany, I just want to tell you how strong you are. Like you are definitely strong. You know, everybody goes through differently. And so you handled yours the way that you needed to handle yours. But look at where you are. You are still victorious. You are still beautiful. No, you didn't deserve that. We can't say that anything that you did was wrong. You know what I'm trying to say? You was 15 years old. But I need the people out there to know that it happens more often than not. And it could have happened to somebody that you know. And so at the end of the day, I want you guys to know that every 68 seconds, somebody is sexually assaulted. So 68 seconds. You can count to 68 right now, and that means that somebody is being assaulted. So we definitely have to get the word out about the assistance that's out there. We definitely got to get this book out to the world and to the community so that they can hear, what you went through and be inspired by your testimony. We do want you to know that most of the assaults that happened and I'm getting this directly off of the Rain website, the assaults that happened in 2021 were child sexual assaults to children. So we definitely want to speak to our children. We definitely want them to be in the know of how to reach out for help. We want them to know that they have school counselors. We want them to know they have parents, they have cousins. Anybody out there, if you are a youth and you are watching, please know that we care for you. We love you. Reach out to Rain. Reach out to Brandy. Read her book. Whatever. Just don't suffer in silence because it is people out here rooting for you.
and not feel ashamed. That's the most part about it. Even
Mm-hmm.
just my daughter being raped, and she was ashamed, and I never knew that that's something that happened to her or something that she even experienced up until this past year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that literally just killed me because I'm like feeling like she's experiencing my whole life of what I went through, and now she's experiencing. She's been raped. They drugged my daughter. They gave her some type of drug, and it numbed her body, and they drugged her and they raped her,
So,
and because she was afraid to talk about it, she felt shameful. She so don't feel like that. You know,
right. Was it you writing this book that caused her to come out about it?
yeah. She said,
Yeah.
"Mommy, I want to be like you," and she said, "I want to write my book and tell my story."
Amen. Y'all, speak up, speak out, and get the word out. Yes, that is correct. And how could
And
we
you know what's
purchase your
gonna
book?
help
How could we
so
purchase your apparel? I'm sorry, Lisa, you was talking. I'm sorry.
I was just telling Brandy that her book is going to help so many people do just what your daughter did to come out and tell their stories. Because a lot of
Exactly.
things, it happened to people that they are holding in and they don't feel like they have anybody to talk to. And I believe that your book is going to be an outlet that these young women will be able to come out and tell their story. So
Yeah.
Yes.
amazing job.
Exactly. Exactly.
It really was an inspiration for my family to experience things like I think my cousin, she's probably in her mid 60s. Well, it's my mom's cousin. But she's like 60 something years old, but she had experienced things in her younger years. And she, to email my mom to say like your daughter's book has, like, it just opened her mind up to be able to talk about the things that happened to her and the things that went on in her family, and as a child. She talked about it to my mom, but that's still an outlet as far as, um, she cried and she was just like, your daughter's book is really just an eye opener for me, and it's really brought me to life to be able to talk about the things that happened to me. So it's I've gotten a lot of reviews and a lot of good feedback, so I'm definitely happy and excited about, you know my book and the things that, like you say, it really is opening opening the doors for other women to not be scared.
Yes. And in so many different instances, I do want to clarify this is not just a book about the rape. This is a book, because I have the book, I have about 10 copies to be completely honest. Look.
Read the journal.
Yes. But to be completely honest, this book is everything. Even from the beginning to the end, the book title, before you open it, is Get Up, Girl, You Got This. That speaks to so
Uh,
many different women in so many different states of their lives. Not only that, but in the book, it talks about domestic violence. In the book, it talks about being an overcomer. In the book, it talks about rape. So this book is not just about the sexual assault, but this book is literally about getting up because you got this. We want you to know that God is a healer. He's a protector. He's a provider. We don't want you to sit in the situation. We don't want you to just sit there in silence and suffer in silence. Get up because you got this. How do you get up? You can pray. You can reach out to a therapist. You can get a group of friends. You could get your family on your team. Get you a support system. Listen, get up because you got this. We want to encourage you to get up because you got this. I'm sorry, I get excited now.
You better
Look.
preach that. You better
We have
preach,
to tie it
girl.
back in. We have to tie it back in because we don't want people to watch and get into a victim mindset. We want
Yeah.
them to become overcomers. We don't want them to sit there and wallow in what they're going through, and we rebuke depression and suicidal thoughts. Listen, this is a get up because you got this, not a stay down. So listen, even though you're going through it, figure out how you can possibly get up, what works for you, what motivates you. And if you can't figure it out for yourself, pray about it. Talk to your pastor, talk to your friends, talk to somebody who can encourage you in a positive way to get up.
yeah, exactly.
I'm excited. I'm
And
excited.
what I find more of helping me, like I said, journaling, writing everything down, self affirmations. I look at a lot of YouTube videos about, you know, just being an overcomer. Um, just a lot of positivity to
You
bring
going out, Brandy?
a lot of positivity, to bring into your life so that you can be who you want to be, and you don't have to, like you said, dwell and live in silence and be a victim by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Because if we
right.
be real, if we're really real, a lot of times the abuser wants to get into your mind, like the young man told you that you deserved it, and once they get into your mind, with their comments or their actions, now you are feeling a type of way. You're feeling low. You're not really reaching your full potential. You may not run and tell or call the cops because you feel now that you deserve it because that's what they said. But you are more than what they say you are. You can be more than what they say you are. You have to know that, hey, this is a narcissist I'm dealing with. This is an abuser I'm dealing with. They cannot have power over me. They do not have authority over me. I am breaking these chains. I am breaking free. I am no longer bound. Girl, don't get me excited. Y'all know I get excited. I'm ready. Brandon, you keep going because I'm ready.
I was gonna say too, just when you said that, um not giving the abuser the power. And I feel like me speaking about it and me writing about my book, they no longer have that power over my mind. They no longer have the power over me
Yes.
to control me, to make me feel my my self-esteem being low, me having gone into anxiety attacks, having depression, um, feeling like my self-worth is just, and what I was going to say before the audio went out before, the abusers that actually abused me, I fell back into a depression for like 3 weeks. I laid in bed. I cried every day, like, because it was like everything that was going on, they were attacking me. They were going on Facebook and they were, you know, leaving me messages and threatening me and saying this and saying that and doing all these other types of things. But as my book is being released and more people are reading my book, I found out that it was more family that was actually being abused by these same people. And it was, and they're a lot younger than me. So it was like I just took that to the heart because I'm like, my age, I'm about to be 40 almost. So
Mm-hmm.
they're in their 30s, like 32, 30, maybe 32, 33. And I'm just like, so how can they, like, it was just a whole process of me trying to figure out, like, why did they have to go through it? Like
Mm-hmm.
and then I got to the point where I was like, well, I just would have rather it happened to me and not them.
Right.
Like, because they're a lot younger than me. So it was just a whole mental thing that I was going through for 3 weeks. Um, I didn't go to work. I was like, I literally just laid in bed all day and slept all day because I'm just like, I called my mom crying and I broke down and I'm just like, why did it have to happen to them? But but I had to, girl, get up, like, you got this, like, you can't let,
Mm-hmm.
because I kept
Yes.
seeing it and I'm like, no, I gotta come out of this depression. Like, I have worked too hard to come this far to just, like, let their power come back over me and control me. It's sad and I hate that it happened to my other family, but I can't allow that power and that energy to take over me. You know, and my and so now the relationship that I had with them before, because the abuser had actually manipulated my other family to not even talk to me, to make them think that it was me, like, all these years, like, not necessarily with the like abuse, because they didn't know, but making them feel like, oh, Brandy do this because she this way, or Brandy, Brandy crazy, she this, she
That's a
that.
part of the characteristics. Yeah.
But my other family really not knowing the truth and why I've been away all these years. Now they know. And they was like, so that's why they said this about you. That's why ABCXYZ.
Yeah.
So now it's changed their whole dynamic and the way they feel about me because they know the truth.
Right. Right.
And so
Right. Right.
now
Right.
our relationships are a lot better, and they like, I support you.
So this book has brought healing and togetherness for your family.
Exactly.
Yes. See, when you speak out, it gives you that healing that you need. Yes, I like that, Brandy. I'm
Yeah.
glad. I'm happy for you and your family for being able to get through it, get by it, and come together. You
Because
know.
they come forward and talk about the abuse that they dealt with as children, and they've been able to reveal it and talk to their parents about it, and you know it's caused a domino effect in the family because the family thought that the people were, a certain way, like, they always been the golden children. But now that they know the truth and they've seen that it's encountered other family members, they just, now they know how to deal with it.
Right. 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 Well, guys, we just really appreciate you, Brandy, for being on here. We appreciate all the viewers for watching. We appreciate you, Lisa, for coming on, doing the word of the day every day, all the time. And so we're just so grateful. But I do want to tell you guys that prayer is power. And so you continue to pray, continue to walk in faith, continue to read your word. It is a sword that is sharper than any other. So be encouraged. If you need assistance, like I told you, reach out to reign. Brandy, I want to be sure that we tell them how to purchase your book, your products, and things like that. Can we go over that one more time?
Can you say it one more time, Mia?
Where would they go to purchase your book and your apparel?
Oh, yes. Um, so you can actually go to Amazon. The link is actually in my account um, on HAP, and it's actually on Facebook. I post it all the time. So Amazon.com, you can go on there, just type in my first and last name, Brandy Dixon, or you can actually go to my website, inspiremehealing.org, and you can purchase the book that way. Or if it, some people, if you just want to send me a message through Facebook Messenger, um, that's fine too.
Okay, guys, let's make sure we come together and support her on this healing journey. Make sure we support each other on this healing journey. You don't have to know her personally, but if you're praying tonight, make sure you pray for her healing as well. We'll continue to pray for all the survivors. We'll continue to pray for all the viewers, and y'all can continue to pray for us.